Had an interesting start with Arlin, 12, 16 months ago. We're sitting in Las Vegas thinking of what we need to do to take HTG to the next step and fulfill HTG's mission of the Go-Giver concept fundamental issue. And as we sat there in Vegas, I was looking at the glitz and glitter of Vegas and how it compares to what HTG wants to do. And it finally dawned on me that the ad in Las Vegas is what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I thought that, what happens in HTG needs to be shared out of HTG. And we looked at creating a vehicle to help the small businesses, VAR reseller community that really needs help in case of a regional catastrophic disaster, but also the human touch when there is a personal business life disruption in regards, for example, a death in the family, sickness, a catastrophic illness, anything from a personal situation that would affect the business, that we would mobilize the resources and help of this Go-Giver community that HTG is, and create something that will really make an impact in the life and legacy of others. We looked at various names, and again, as I was talking with Arlin, it suddenly dawned on me that Arlin Technology Group, let's think about hands that give. Indeed, utilizing the stewardship concept of just giving and using the hands, the 10 fingers on the hands. And if just think of the power of the 10%, so to speak. If everyone just gave like 10% of their profits or their revenues to a really defining concept of helping others, imagine what it would do for our community and the rest of the community. Because as you well know, right now in the small business market world, which is Main Street USA, the technology drives that. And if there is a catastrophe or a disaster, the resellers, the VARs, the solution providers are the ones in the front line. After post-Katrina and 9/11, there was a study that came out that said small and medium-sized businesses who are not up and running within 5 to 7 days after that catastrophic disaster will either go bankrupt or go out of business within 12 months. We're actually having two forms of fundraising. We get it from our own HTG Peer Groups, the folks within our community. We feel it's really important that we show by giving ourselves individually and also from the business. But then a lot of it will come from our friends from the vendor and the manufacturer, commercial corporate space. They're very excited about it. They really want to help. And I think this will trigger a life of its own that's going to even grow bigger than what we are. It's really important that to be responsible, we first need to look at our own businesses. We've got to have a business continuity plan. Something as simple as when a disaster strikes. Do you know where to meet immediately after so you can count noses? Two, do you know your employees' email, not their business email because it'll probably be gone, but personal emails? Have you shared their cell phones and their personal cell phones so you can text and get together? There is a very simple plan that we've put in place so that each of these communities and peer groups and their individual businesses will have a business continuity plan in place, which then makes it very effective for them should a disaster strike or should something happen where they can reach out and help the other groups. I think this is all about life and legacy. 6 weeks ago, my dad died. My dad was a go-giver. He gave his whole life in service to others. He started the first school in the jungles of New Guinea. And his was a legacy of giving. And I can remember just before he passed away, I had to rush over to the hospital. And he had moved out of the intensive care, and I thought he was going to be okay. And we sat and talked. And he says, "Lester, what are you doing?" And I mentioned him to the fact of this exciting HTG Hands That Give concept, and he had the best, greatest smile on his face. So I feel like I'm carrying a legacy for him, but not just for him, it's for our children too.